They convinced me I only had a few good years left before I was replaced by a girl younger than me. As though men yield power with age, but women grow into irrelevance, they can keep their lies, for I have just gotten started. I feel as though I just left the womb. My 20s are the warm-up for what I'm really about to do. Wait till you see me in my 30s. Now that will be a proper introduction to the nasty, wild woman in me. How can I leave before the party started? Rehearsals begin at 40. I ripen with age. I do not come with an expiration date. And now for the main event, curtains up at 50. Let's begin the show. Hi, thank you for having me. I've been on my India tour for about a month now, and I finished my Delhi show in February 4th. So it's so amazing and so humbling to be back because you're so incredible. And I know we're really, really hungry. We all want some lunch right now, so I'll keep it really short. I will be sharing 2 spoken word pieces with you, and the first is called The Art of Growing. And it's something that I wrote for my 12-year-old self. I felt beautiful until the age of 12 when my body began to ripen like new fruit. And suddenly, the men looked at my newborn hips with salivating lips. The boys, they didn't want to play tag at recess. They wanted to touch all the new and unfamiliar parts of me. The parts I didn't know how to wear, didn't know how to carry, tried to bury in my ribcage. Boobs, they said, and I hated that word. Hated that I was embarrassed to say it, that even though it was referring to my body, it didn't belong to me. It belonged to them, and they repeated it like they were meditating upon it. Boobs, he said, let me see yours. There is nothing worth seeing here but guilt and shame. I try to rot into the earth below my feet, but I am still standing 1 foot across from his hooked fingers, and when he charges to feast on my half moons, I bite into his forearm and decide that I hate this body, that I must have done something terrible to deserve it. So when I go home, I tell my mother that the men outside were starving. She tells me I must not dress with my breasts hanging, so the boys will get hungry if they see fruit. Said I should sit with my legs closed like a woman oughta, or the men will get angry and fight. Said I can avoid all of this trouble if I just learn to act like a lady. But the problem is, that doesn't even make sense. I can't wrap my head around the fact that I have to convince half the world's population that my body is not their bed. I am busy learning the consequences of womanhood when I should be learning science and math instead. I like cartwheels and gymnastics, so I can't imagine walking around with my thighs pressed together like they're hiding a secret, as if the acceptance of my own body parts will invite thoughts of lust in their heads. I will not subject myself to their ideologies, 'cause slut-shaming is rape culture, and virgin praising is rape culture. And I am not a mannequin in the window of your favorite shop. You can't dress me up or throw me out when I'm bored. You are not a cannibal, and your actions are not my responsibility, so you will control yourself. And so, the next time I go to school and the boys, they hoot at my backside, I push them down, foot over their necks, and defiantly say, boobs. And the look in their eyes is priceless. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It's so lovely to see all of you. I've interacted with so many amazing, incredible people, and it's the people that are, honestly, that are coming to the shows and they're like 12 years old, anywhere from like 12 to 21, and they're all blowing my mind, and I'm probably 80% convinced now that I have to come back here and write book 3 here so I can be surrounded by this energy, so thank you. So the last piece, it's called Broken English, and it's very close to my heart because I was born in India and raised here for about 3.5 years, and then we moved to Canada. So I had the pleasure of witnessing these two worlds colliding, and I struggled with that. But I used to resist it for a long time, look at my parents and see them as a mark of shame because of their accents, because of the color of their skin, and because of so many things, until I think I hit around 21, and all of a sudden their sacrifices in the world that they built became art. And then I wrote Broken English. There's supposed to be music. All right, there's gonna be no music. I think about the way my father pulled the family out of poverty without knowing what a vowel was. And my mother raised 4 children without being able to construct a perfect sentence in English. A discombobulated couple that landed in the new world with hopes that left the bitter taste of rejection in their mouth. No family, no friends, just man and wife. 2 university degrees that meant nothing. 1 mother tongue that was broken now, 1 swollen belly with a baby inside, a father worrying about jobs and rent, 'cause no matter what, this baby was coming. And they thought to themselves, for a split second, was it worth it to put all of our money into the dream of a country that is swallowing us whole? And Papa looks at his woman's eyes and sees loneliness living where the iris was. Wants to give her a home in a country that looks at her with the word visitor wrapped around their tongue. On their wedding day, she left an entire village to be his wife. And now she left an entire country to be a warrior. And when the winter came, they had nothing but the heat of their own bodies to keep the coldness out. And so, like 2 brackets, they faced one another to hold the dearest parts of them, their children, close. They turned a suitcase full of clothes into a life and regular paychecks to make sure the children of immigrants would not hate them for being the children of immigrants. They worked too hard. You can tell by their hands, their eyes were begging for sleep, but our mouths were begging to be fed, and that is the most artistic thing I have ever seen. It is poetry to these ears that have never heard what passion sounds like, and my mouth is full of likes and ums when I look at their masterpiece, because there are no words in the English language that can articulate that kind of beauty. I can't compact their existence into 26 letters and call it a description. I tried once, but the adjectives needed to describe them don't even exist. So instead, I ended up with pages and pages full of words, followed with commas and more words and more commas, only to realize that there are some things in the world so infinite they could never use a full stop. So how dare you mock your mother when she opens her mouth and broken English spills out? Don't be ashamed of the fact that she split through countries to be here so you wouldn't have to cross her shoreline. Her accent is thick like honey. Hold it with your life. It's the only thing she has left from home. Don't stomp on that richness. Instead, hang it up on the walls of museums next to Dali and Van Gogh. Her life is brilliant and tragic. Kiss the side of her tender cheek. She already knows what it sounds like to have an entire nation laugh when she speaks. She is more than our punctuation and language. We might be able to paint pictures and write stories, but she made an entire world for herself. So how is that for art? Thank you for having me. Thank you.